Hare Krishna, my humble obeisances to all the devotees. We welcome you to this Gyan Chakshu's thirst session. We are very grateful towards the devotee who has been with us throughout all the session. Thank you for taking out your time once again and joining with us. We are very grateful to Gurudev for once again being with us today. We seek for your permission, Gurudev. So, may we start now?
Yes.
So, here goes the first question. Despite the fact that we are doing everything, how do we check or how to know that Lord Krishna is happy with us?
Now, Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasai Bhutale Samati Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Namaste Saraswati Devi. Gaura Vani Pracharana Indra Visesa Sanya Vadi Pastata Vesatara. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Gamunitananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhaktadan Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Sri Prabhupada. So, the question was, how do we know Krishna is pleased with us? It is not difficult. Naturally, if you do something good, you'll be happy. Naturally, even if nobody tells you, if you do something good, you'll be happy about it. And if you do something wrong, you'll not be happy about it. Even if nobody tells us. Naturally, we'll feel good or we feel bad. Or do something good or do something. But to go beyond that, this is first thing. The second step, Sutta Goswami explained in this Srimad Bhagavatam. Sabai Pumsa Paro Dharma Tato Bhakti Adokshade. I took it a pratihata, Yajatma Suprasidati. Yajatma Suprasidati. When we do something which is pleasing to Adoksha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, our occupational activity, our occupational duty means, as Prabhupada give example, it's an intrinsic nature of all living entities. It means something which goes with our nature. It's not something temporal. Not something we're going to change. Like liquidity, it's an intrinsic nature of water, or heat, light. The intrinsic nature of fire. You cannot change it. If you remove liquidity, it's no more fire. Similarly, if you remove heat, it's not more water. If you remove liquidity, it's not water again. In the same way, if you remove heat or light, it is not more fire. If it is fire, it will be heat. That's the intrinsic nature of fire or water. In the same way, if you remove service from us, which is our intrinsic nature, then we're no more entity, a living entity. But if it is our natural way the soul function, and we have to do service, then Sutta Goswami is speaking that the qualification for the service to be pleasing is that there is no motivation. No motivation. That could be centered or centralized. Both ways is contaminated. Both ways contaminated. But if it is hierarchy, it's a hierarchy, and there is no cause. It is free out of duty to please the Supreme Lord. Then the judgment must proceed. We will be very, very satisfied, because if we make someone happy, you cannot be miserable. You just will be happy, because what we give out must come back to us. So if we have made Lord Krishna pleased or happy, we ourselves will be happy, will be pleased. That's how we know. Even when devotee feels that, oh, I'm not a good devotee, I've not done something good yet, but you will never feel dejected and morose and sorrowful. No, you feel happy. So we will know that we have pleased Lord Krishna when we are also satisfied and encouraged in our Krishna consciousness. All right?
Yes, Gurudev. Thank you so much. So the next question is, how can I do everything for Krishna and do nothing for personal gain when bills must be paid and children fed?
Yes, even though we are paid for something, for the service that we do, even though we are paid for that, because some situation will warrant that. That one is a householder, the Brahmachari is a householder, but has given himself fully to the temple service. So some allowance will be given for the maintenance. So that allowance is given in our salary. It will become a salary if we become attached to that, and we are doing the service because of that. Then it is contaminated. But if we are not doing the service because of that, it's just a natural way things function that we are facilitated, so can take care of the social needs for us to do our service nicely. Then that is not a salary. It is it's a token for buying the necessary thing for taking care of the body. And when our attention is not focused on that, our attention is focused on the service we do. And that's the main thing. And that service is for blessing the Supreme Lord. It's blessing the social master. It's blessing the immediate managers or leaders. And the motivation is to do that service as a service, not just for whatever we may get from it. And even the little thing we get from it, if we can still contribute something to, that is, if it is a reasonable one, if we still contribute something to something as a sign of appreciation, that make it very wonderful. And it is pure, it is not contaminated, because there is no material motivation behind it. So we are considered to be in a transcendental level. I remember in our Gita's, the Prophet mentioned there are many members of the Krishna movement who are working very seriously in their offices in different places. Whatever they earn, they give to Krishna consciousness. Prophet said they are highly recognized sannyasis. They are renounced. They are sannyasis. That is perfection of renunciation. To give the result of one's labor to Krishna without our personal interest. So that is renunciation. That is sannyas. And in that way, one is never contaminated in what one wants. Rather, we get purified by what we do. When if we get purified, that means it is devotional service. That is why it has the potency to the devotional service. And we are getting purified from it. We become pure by doing that. Means we are on the right path. We're not contaminated by that. So even though externally it look like we get something from it, but that is different. It's a different mentality towards that. So in this way, we are free, completely free from the contamination that they come from so many things. The consciousness matters, and the understanding. See, when we have a correct understanding and a perfect consciousness in what we, and everything becomes spiritualized, and the result is that we get purified by doing it, not contaminated. That's a fact. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Gurudev, for explaining this wonderfully. The next question is, are all the spiritual bodies same?
Yes, if it is spiritual, then it is the same. Not the same in size. What I mean in size, it means a tree has a tree will have a different a different a tree body is different, animal bodies are different. The same with other species are different. Yes, if it is spiritual, it's spiritual because they're all made of the same element, Sakchidananda Vigna. So the varieties is there, but if it is made of spiritual element, then it is spiritual. There's nothing wrong. So in that sense, it is the same, or not in the same shape, because an animal body will not be in the same shape like human body, or tree or plant body will not be in the same sense with the other species. In the spiritual world, there are also species, different species. We have species like we have here. We have animals. You have trees and plant creepers. We have humans. Yes, we have all that. We have the same 8 million, 8 point. In the material, we have 8.4. In the spiritual, I have no calculation about the spiritual. How many species? Spiritual is there. I don't have the calculation for that. So that is it is there. But in a spiritually perfection, yes, it is the same. It is the same. It is the same that if you are entities in an animal body in the spiritual world, they are pure. They are pure. Yeah, although they are animal, but they are pure. They are not like condemned animals. They are pure. The entities in the plant bodies, they are pure. In the spiritual world, they are pure. They're perfect, complete like Krishna. They are pure. They are different from the plant here. Because it is made of spiritual energy, not material energy anymore. So that is it. So in that sense, yes, it is the same. Pure is pure. Not that if the animal body then are degraded. In a spiritual world, there is nothing like high and low. Although there are different rasas in the spiritual world, all the rasas are pure. And the entities in a particular rasa where Krishna doesn't feel himself as inferior to others. So, for example, those entities in the relationship with Krishna are servants in the spiritual world. They don't feel that they are inferior to Vasalya rasa of others. Or the associate of Lord Machanda feeling inferior to the associate of Krishna. They don't feel like that. The associate of Matsya, they don't feel inferior to the associate of Varahadi. They don't feel, or Kurma, they don't feel like that. Everybody feel comfortable in the rasa we have of Krishna. Because there is a transcendental pleasure from there for all the souls. Yes. So yes, in the spiritual world everything is transcendental. on the same level, transcendental, pure. Therefore, everybody feel comfortable and happy in our different rasas with the personality of Godhead that we are related with. You were Kuruma Dev, Rahadev, Syadev, Singh Bhagwan, Singh or Bhagwan Ramchandra. Yes, all they have to say that they're complete, they feel happy and satisfied. No one feels inferior because that's the complete nature of spirituality or divinity or Krishna consciousness. Everyone is satisfied with the rasa we have with Krishna. Nobody feeling inferior. Even though we know that the material rasa, Sringara rasa is the highest. We don't see Mother Yashoda envying Srimati Radharani. We don't see that. Or we see Radharani envying Yashoda Mai. We don't see that. Everybody feels comfortable with the rasa, with Krishna. So it's the same in that sense. All right, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru. Thank you so much. So we have one live question in which Prabhuji asks, Maharaj, how to transfer appreciation in service to our Guru? Can you please give ways to do so nicely?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure, Guru. How to transfer appreciation in service to our Guru? Can you
Every
please give
situation. Every
appreciation?
situation. Every.
How can we transfer appreciation in service to our spiritual masters? So the Prabhuji is asking ways in we can do it nicely.
Well, if I understand the question nicely, whatever service we have to do, any service we have to do, any service that we are doing, either in the temple, is a service in the temple, or the service that we do in the house, or a service we do in our preaching centers. Everything that a devotee does is an offering to the spiritual master. Because as a devotee, every of our activity function within devotional circle. So it is an offering to Krishna. Everything, in whatever situation we may be, as far as we are devotees, it is an offering to the spiritual master of Krishna. Therefore, we are requested, or we should know it fully. That is our connection with the spiritual master. Therefore, it has to be done on the base of our heart, with the base of our intelligence, base of our understanding, the base of our ability. That should be the motivation. That should be the only reason for us to do something. When it is done in that way, it is an offering to Krishna, to spiritual master. And the spiritual master will be happy because it will go to touch the hearts. It will definitely touch the hearts. And as Papa mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, the purport. The pure devotee, they are by nature very kind. Nature. They are very kind. And so when they see the sincerity of a disciple, their heart will naturally get softened. What will soften the heart? So by nature, the heart of pure devotee is very soft. be full of compassion. But when the spiritual master sees that sincerity in the service of the disciples, and the heart will melt. The heart melt means that compassion will flow automatically to us, and that will make the disciple life very successful. We have a strength to do everything nicely. Everything nicely. That is our ways or means of getting the blessing and mercy on the spiritual master. Then, when that is there, Sri Prabhupada said the regulative principle, the activities of Krishna consciousness become very, very simple. It becomes easy for the disciple to follow. In other words, the success is guaranteed. The success is guaranteed. And imagine when we satisfy our superiors. If the child pleases the father, you can imagine. They don't like anything. Nothing. Everything becomes available. Everything. We have difficulty when we are not a favorite. We are not a favorite. When we make ourselves the favorite, that making ourselves the favorite is not a partiality. Not a partiality. It is the natural way things function. That's the natural way things function. So we'll make ourselves the favorite. It is we who should make ourselves a favorite of the parent. Then there is a progression to cover everything in our lives. All difficulty becomes very, very simple with everything. There is a verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlada is speaking. There is nothing which is unobtainable. Devotee. Nothing. Unobtainable. A devotee, because why? The devotees have won the heart of Krishna with their sensations. As Prabhupada is saying, in principle becomes very easy to and he gave the qualification. That service should be done sincerely from the heart. How? As a mania sarva without false prestige. If there is prestige, the false prestige is there. It cannot be mania, and it do not have the potency to touch the heart of the compassionate pure devotees. Do not. They will be struggling with everything in Krishna consciousness. But if that is done, it's not easy. Like in a school, you say mathematics made easy. So bhakti made easy by us being very, very fortunate to understand the formula of doing everything as a service to please the spiritual master. Because we know why is what there is a relationship between master and disciples. Why? If I don't want to be servant, I should not be there. And if I want to be servant, then I should be there. If not because of ignorance and our unfortunate situation. Otherwise, that's how it should be. If I'm there, then I should be there. If I'm not there, I should not be there. This is, of course, that is a very high quality, which is difficult in Kali Yuga. But that is how it should be. That we should, in Christian consciousness, with full knowledge, have the responsibility to serve my master. It is my own choice. I have volunteered to be a devotee, so to do. But the unfortunate situation is that we don't volunteer to be here. That we We choose to be here so we can do our own thing, and that always brings problem and anxiety. Hare Krishna. I hope it makes sense.
Yes, Guru.
Otherwise, you can ask the question again in a different way. So we try to follow it.
No, thank you so much, Guru. Thank you so much for this. So we move on to the next question. The next question is, what sign sent by Krishna can a conditioned soul depend on to recognize one's eternal master, one's spiritual master, who can bestow pure love to them?
It is a simple technique. It's a simple technique. A simple technique. The qualification for anyone to be able to understand what's my spiritual master, it depends on us. It depends on how we are in our Christian consciousness. Yeah, just last month. Last month I got a letter from a devotee in Russia. So let me tell this story so that we can understand what it is. So this devotee, a new devotee, came to the temple. No, not a temple. She visited a friend. They're having program. They have a program in the house. It's a Namahat center. So she went. The devotee in whose house they're conducting this program. They have the Namahat program. Bhakti Dhira. So she went there, and as she entered there, she saw the picture of His Holiness Bhakti Dhira Maharaj on the table of his friend. So she looked at the picture and looked at the picture. She was just looking. It's the first time she just looked at the picture. And I know so many devotees have a different understanding about some things. That is okay, because we're human beings. You can understand things whatever we want. But the reality is always the reality. Not one cannot change. No one can change it. So she looked at the picture and she could recognize this is my spiritual master. I have never met him. So she asked, when the friend was not in the house that time, they were busy cooking. So later the friend came to the house. So she asked her, who is this person? I want to see this person. And that person is a god sister. So she told that friend, where is my spiritual master? So Buddhism, I want to see you. And she was told that, I'm sorry, he has left the planet. She started to cry. She started to cry. She cried for a long time. She cried for a long time. Up to the point that while she was crying, lamenting seriously, I want this person. A Gurudeva appeared to her in a dream as she was. Gurudeva appeared. So, my dear, what do you want? So, I want you. Why did you leave us? Why did you leave us? So they were communicating. And she has a full detail. She sent me a letter, full detail of all the discussions she had with the Gurudev, though in the dream, and even though Gurudev appeared and she consoled her, externally she was still lamenting. Up to the point that Srila Prabhupada also came to her. But she was still not convinced why he left me, he left us. That was her question. I was moved by the communication and the relationship this Mataji is having with Guru. This is something from previous life. It's not something mechanical. It's not material. It's not a sentimental thing. It is something real. It is real. It is happening. So if we are genuine spiritualists, such experiences will be normal. So after so many years, somebody told her that the Guru has a disciple. That's why she got my, wrote me. He wrote to somebody and then it was forwarded to me. So I replied her. It was very interesting the way she narrated everything. Very, very nice. So one will know, one can know this if you are very, very sincere and serious in Christian consciousness, we will know. Immediately upon seeing somebody, you can know that, yeah, this is my spiritual master. Many people have difficulty to know because I was saying we are not sure what we're looking for. Or we are still having some things we are hiding, we are keeping. So everything becomes difficult. Otherwise, you pray to Krishna, so please show me my spiritual master. You will get everything. You get it directly. There's no confusion about it. No confusion. I have a very very sweet experience. Sweet, very, very sweet experience. I mean, his person I don't want to mention it here, but sweet, very sweet experience. How this spiritual thing is so nice, so nice. We don't have to fake it. We don't have to concoct it. It is natural to come like that. The spiritual master will be shown to you. This is your spiritual master. If you are not a cheater, if you are sincere, you will be shown. So we should sincerely pray to Krishna. I have practical experience with so many children approaching me. They tell their parents to see this is my spiritual master. Many children like that. Many. Both Brazil, Mauritius. Many. Children, not the big people, children, they can tell the parents. Many children. I have many children who are like this, who say this. They tell the parent, she's my spiritual master. So that is a child. Is it a dream? A little baby can say it like this. It's not something for a child. But children are saying this. And many children like that. And I'm sure that people have the same thing. Many people have the same experience. So if one is very sincere, you pray to Krishna, please show me a spiritual master. He will show you. He will show you. Surely Krishna will respond, he will tell you. Okay, I think I should share this one also. When the devotee asked me the same question some years ago in India, and I know much. I said, pray to Krishna. After some time when we met again, he asked me the same thing. I said, actually, to pray to Krishna. He said, yeah, pray. But Krishna didn't give me answer. I said, no. Krishna gave you answer. But you are telling Krishna, that, Krishna, show me my spiritual master. Or this one, show me this one. So you are dictating to Krishna, the one he should show you. So there's no need for you to ask what you're just asking. That is why it is like this. if you don't have any person in mind and sincerely asking Krishna, please show me, Krishna will show you. Yeah, show you. Don't go and play a game with Krishna. After 1 year, he told me that what I told him was correct. He was doing that, and Krishna also played him. But when he removed his mind completely, very sincere and say, yeah, Krishna, I'm blank, so you add something to me. The Krishna will add something. If we are full, then nothing will be there. If we are empty, then Krishna will add something. So Krishna will add something. Who shows exactly who is the Guru to lead us. There is no confusion of confusion. I remember my Brahmachari days. I had Krishna mention of a spiritual master to me, which I have never seen him physically. I don't even knew that they say a devotee ladder in his corner. I never had that name before. But I got the name. Krishna showed me the name. Years later, I met a person in India, and the person came directly to me. No introduction. Came directly to me and greeted me. So we started talking. And he called his name. Yes, your name have been mentioned to me a long time. So is that the fiction? You just mentioned to me, you just called the name. I don't know a person like that in this call. I've never had it before. The first day we met face to face in Vrindavan, he's the one who came directly to me. Because he's a sannyasi. So I stood over and offered business to him, and I stood there. So he started talking to me. How is that? Is that fiction? Is that a dream? Yes, one thing. Yes. So we make our Krishna consciousness very difficult for ourselves. We make things very difficult and it becomes difficult. And we think everything is difficult. It is our own making. If we are simple and straightforward, you get everything simple. Simple. This is my realization, my own experience. This is a practical experience I've had personally and with other devotees. So we should ask Krishna sincerely, directly, with open heart, who is your sister master. I will show you the difficulty. The difficulty is because of our own making, not with Krishna. It is our own making. All right?
Yes,
Krishna.
thank you so much, Guru, for sharing such a wonderful pastime with all of us. So, the next question is, would it be proper for oneself to neglect the family who are not devotees?
Pardon?
Would it be proper for oneself to neglect the family who are not devotees?
To engage a family who are not devotees?
The question is like, is it all right for oneself to not to neglect family members who are not devotees?
Ah, okay.
Yes.
If they are not against, if the family members are against it, then it's better to avoid. Otherwise, we will just help them to make offenses, which will be very, very dangerous for us and dangerous for them. There is a blessing for family member in whose family a member has become a devotee. They have a benefit. I was listening to Chaitanya Bhagavad in Vrindavan. That's the currency. The question was why Krishna allow the devotees to appear in a in a in a diseased family or in a bad country where there is no Ganga flowing. In the country that doesn't have Ganga, water is considered a barren place. It's not a good place. So why devotees also appeared in such places? Krishna, yes, Vrindavan, that's the correct say. Krishna made arrangements for the devotees to appear in different places for the purpose of purifying the place. It's for the purification of the place because where a devotee appeared, that place becomes a tirtha. It's a holy place. So, and Chitama, did it perfectly. He sent so many devotees in different places. Don't it Prabhu is sent it to rather this Ganga doesn't flow there. But the Supreme Lord is a source of Ganga. Wherever he is, automatically Ganga is there. So appearing there, he turned everything to a holy place. And many other devotees appear in different places in Sylhet. Sylhet is in Bangladesh. So many devotees, Chandrasekhar, so many wonderful pure devotees from there. And Burdwan is Haridas Sakura, and some other acharyas. They appear in different places. But when Chaitanya came, he brought all of them. It looked like accident, but it is not accident. It is already planned by Chaitanya. And brought all his devotees to Jagannath Puri to Navadu, and they performed their pastimes. So there is a blessing for the family members in whose family a devotee is made. One becomes a devotee practicing Krishna consciousness. There is blessing, but they will not get the blessing if they are offensive to the movement, offensive to the devotee. Therefore, if the family members are offensive, then we should not increase that. So they will not be destroyed and not be bereft of the mercy they're supposed to get from one being a devotee in that family. We shouldn't. We should not increase it. But if they are not devotee but they are favorable, then we should not reject them. Better we will cultivate them also. If they are not against, we can send them some gifts sometimes. You can call them something and greet. You can visit sometime, but not on the Christmas days. Other days, nothing. Encourage them, give them prasadam, give them some books. If you're not against, that should be done. You should not reject them and say you are karmis, you are condemned, so you are untouchable. No, we should cultivate them because they gave us birth to be able to take to Krishna consciousness. They gave us these bodies that we're using in Krishna consciousness. So they have benefits. So we should not destroy that benefit by being careless in dealing with them. No, we should not abandon them. But if you're against, then we can avoid. We should avoid. And should not preach to them. You can wisdom good, but you don't be very close so you don't become offensive and destroy all the benefit they have. I remember some years ago, I didn't see my parents for 17 years. So when the Guru Dev told me to go and visit them because I'm making them to be angry with the movement. If they're angry, they will not get what they tell. You gotta go and visit them. So I went to visit them. So they will feel because they're not against. So this should be carefully considered and applied so that we can continue to expand their mercy, their fortune by encouraging them in their Krishna consciousness, appreciate more devotee, more Krishna consciousness. And eventually they can also support, or some of them will take to Krishna consciousness. That is important. All right.
Yes, Gurudev, thank you so much. So we will take the last question for today's session, and that is, what determines whether a devotee goes to Vaikuntha planet or to Goloka Vrindavan?
The voice was breaking, so if you can repeat it.
Sure, I'll repeat. What determines whether a devotee goes to Vaikuntha planet or to Goloka Vrindavan?
It depends. It depends on our devotional practice. It depends on our devotional practice. So like Bhakti Dhira Damodara mentioned that a Hare Krishna devotee should go to two lokas. You go to Goloka, you can go to Navadip, because we are following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's path. So you can have a two, very beautiful, two bodies, two lives, and Vrindavan with Krishna and Navadip with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So sweet. So if you are qualified for that, you can go there. And some will go to Vaikuntha. Although we are practicing the same thing, but not that we are going to go to the same place, because we have different tastes. Some devotees are attracted to Narayan and the uplands. She will go to Narayan. Some are attracted to Krishna Vrindavan. They will go to Vrindavan. That is natural. But it's not a disqualification, as we already explained. Everybody feels satisfied in any rasa we have with Krishna, because it is spiritual, it's not material. So whatever rasas we have, we feel happy with that and enjoy. Yes, so we can go to Goloka, you can go to Vaikuntha, you can go to Ayodhya. Those who are attracted to Ramachandra Bhagavan, or we think that the Ram in Krishna is Ramachandra, so you go to Ayodhya. You go to Ayodhya and have an association of Ramachandra. if you think it is Balaram and Krishna, then you go to Goloka, go to Vaikuntha. If you think that Ram is Radha Raman, then you go to Goloka. If you think it's Balaram, you go to Vaikuntha. If you think it's Ramchandra, you go to Ayodhya. If you think it's Radha Raman, then you go to Goloka. So you can we will get to it based on our inner mind. Our inner mind will determine the way we are, and that is where we are going to. Whatever we remain at the time of death, that is what you're going to take. Without fear, Krishna said. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Gurudev. So here we come to an end for the third session of Gyan Cakshu. We thank each and every devotee for joining us today and enthusiastically participating. We will soon come back with another question answer session. Please do send us your question either in Facebook or YouTube channel. You can also email us your question at gmail.com. If any chance any question is unheard, we make sure that your question is answered in the next session. We thank Gurudev so much for enthusiastically answering all the questions and being with us once again. Thank you, Gurudev, and thank you every assembled Vaishnava here. Devotees. Thank you so much, Gurudev. Hare Krishna.